Blue Dog Films presents Pay to Dream with Charles Dennis.
What's wrong?
Oh, my days as head cheerleader of Blaisdell are long gone. Let me catch my breath.
Doesn't that Greek husband of yours keep you in shape? Or was he too busy out buying up the other half of Arizona?
It's like legalized rape with Mr. Curlicundus. Do you know that he talks to his daddy every day?
What's so strange about that?
The man's been dead for 20 years.
Why do you stay with him, sugar? You know I've been pining for you all these years, ever since that crazy husband of yours stole you away from me.
Oh, Billy never let me leave. He'd follow me to Mars. Even his own children changed their names so he couldn't find them. I thought yoga might help, but I'm still a nervous wreck.
Why don't you have him killed? We are in Vegas.
Hello, we're back with Pay to Dream. I forgot the name of the show. Yes, that wonderful, wacky woman that you just saw, and that is Rachelle Carson-Begley. This is backwards day. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. It's just seeing you. It just
I know.
affects
I have that
me.
effect.
Yes, I know. Rachelle is one of the finest light comedians I've ever worked with. She is also an environmentalist, probably through association, and a healer. And we'll get to that part of it later. Thank you. Yeah. So the first thing I want to ask you about is Oscar night, because I looked on Facebook, and there was your beautiful daughter, Hayden, with her dad on the subway.
Okay, they took the subway. I went to the Oscars.
How'd
So
you get there?
Hayden I have let her go to the Oscars on numerous occasions, but she wanted to do that thing because she promotes the subway, and so, that's a little bit, but I went to the Oscars. They went on the subway, I drove.
You didn't take an Uber?
No, I drove my car. You have a great pass, and it's perfect. They valet right then and there, and so, yeah.
So how was it last night?
I thought it was fabulous. I thought it was one of the better ones. It was inspiring. There were many things first, like that woman who got for Sinners, the cinematographer, and she said,
Oh, wasn't that
"All
great?
in the audience, stand up." Of course, I was the first one to stand up. Finally, I can stand up at the Oscars.
I'm wondering, was she the first woman ever nominated for cinematography? I don't recall.
So. I don't think so. I think she was just the first woman that ever won. And she was certainly the first woman who won that was a woman of color who won. It was really exciting. It was an exciting night. Yeah.
How many have you been to now?
I was asking Ed last night. I think it has been, I've let my daughter go several times, so 3 or 4 of those. We didn't go last year because Ed had his knee replaced. But I think either 16 or 17.
Wow.
I know. And it never gets dull. I mean, always I'm like, oh, I have to go, it's sort of like, oh, I got to get dressed up. My feet are going to hurt. I'm going to freeze. But you would, God forbid, you miss it because it's quite exciting.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So you spent an early part of your life in Saudi Arabia, as I recall.
My father did.
Well, didn't you go there?
Never.
Oh,
No.
but that's how you went to school in England.
I went to school in England. But my roommate was a Saudi princess. So I felt like I went to Saudi Arabia without really having to go. See, the problem back then is if you went to Saudi, you could never go to Israel. Because if you had that Saudi stamp on your passport, you couldn't go into Israel. They were, wonder why, or vice versa. I don't think that was the opposite with Saudis going into Israel, but you couldn't, Saudis wouldn't. So anyway, the point is, there were so many more interesting places to go for me, and I wish I had seen it on some level, but I didn't want to partake in that. I just didn't want to go there. It was not fun for my father. I can guarantee you that. He went there and just made money, so it was not a fun thing.
How long was he there?
A couple of years. But they needed housing, and he was a builder, so they needed buildings, and he wasn't in the oil business, he was in the building business. So yeah, but it was a tour of duty for him. He was like, nothing about it was pleasurable.
But you started life in the state of Georgia, did you not?
I did. I started in Atlanta, Georgia, and it wasn't until I went to England to high school, the last couple of years of high school, did I actually leave Georgia. And once I left Georgia, I was like, there's a big, beautiful world out here, and I'm going to partake in it. And so I went back after high school, wanted to stay in England, but I really didn't understand the system there because I wanted to go to RADA or any of those schools. So I went back to Atlanta for about a second and went, I'm not going to be okay. Now, Atlanta now is fabulous, but back then it was not the artistic hub that it is now. And I moved to New York when I was 18 and went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Before they moved here?
No, actually, they were here. I had all my transcripts were sent to Los Angeles because my best friend from England was here too. And so I sent everything. In the last minute, this woman convinced me. She goes, why do you want to go to LA? Go to New York. And I went, you're right. And so I went to New York because I was a theater person. I wasn't a film and TV person. I wanted to do theater. I thought I would live and die in the theater.
And you went to Canada for a while too, didn't you? You were in Toronto.
I was here for 5 years. I came out to LA on a 2-week vacation because my boyfriend at the time was finishing Brighton Beach Memoirs here and rehearsing Biloxi Blues to go back to Broadway. But when I came out, because I was all of 24, I started getting more because back then New York was a very closed shop. If you didn't go to Juilliard, Yale, or one of the league schools, it was very hard to break in. I did break in a little bit because I went to Williamstown a few seasons, so when I came out here, I got a little more. I got into auditions. I could audition for casting. So none of my theater training translated. They didn't care. They were like, "What's that? Williamsburg, Virginia?" No, it was Williamstown Theater Festival, but they didn't care. So yeah. So and I also was told in no uncertain terms when I was 24, "Oh, too bad you're not 19." I mean, it's just so I stayed, and then around 5 years I had a couple of successes and started my career in the theater. Someone saw me in the theater and then wrote a part for me on a TV show that I did. And then around 5 years, I had this movie out, and I thought, and I got to travel with this guy up to Canada, and he got me a visa there, and I thought, I've done LA, let's go. So I moved to Canada with him.
Did you do theater there?
No. I did film. I did TV. I did TV there, and it was, pretty successful. What could have been even more successful had I stayed. But we broke up, and then I came back to LA to do a play, as a matter of fact, because actually, there's Canada has very strict laws about work there, and I had a visa to work, but again, theater is a very different medium, different world in Canada. Like in England, it's a very closed shop, so I was not going to probably break into their theater scene. So I came back to do a play in LA. I did Romeo and Juliet. I did Lady Capulet with some little celebrities, and I was going back.
Well, tell me, who were Romeo and Juliet?
Well, this girl, Claire Carey, who had just come off of Coach. Remember Coach, that show?
Yes.
She was the daughter. I played her mother, and I was like 7 years older or something ridiculous. But it was fun. And then I was planning on going back to Canada because, I was bigger fish, smaller pond. And then I met Ed. That fateful day. I had actually known Ed before, but I had done I had gone a trip down the Kern River and loved the nonprofit that sponsored it. And so I was at their fundraiser, and I was volunteering, and Ed was the MC, and I ran into him again.
So you were environmental before you met Ed?
Well, I was named after Rachelle Carson, the mother of the environmental
Really?
movement. Yeah. My dad always told me my whole life, you are named after Rachelle Carson. My mother wanted a little bit of flair on the name, I suppose. And, so they compromised on Rachelle. For the most of my life, I was Shelley because that, Rachelle was a big name for a little girl. And then when I moved to New York, I took my name back. And I was Rachelle from here on out. But mostly people call me Rachel. So that's, and so I get the Rachel Carson thing. But yeah, so I didn't know who she was. But of course, I mean, growing up in the 60s and 70s and, terrible environment, even in Atlanta. I remember when our Chattanooga River turned an odd shade of blue. It was not a natural shade. And I was thinking, this isn't right, And then I remember when I moved to Canada, I didn't know there were recycling bins in the early 90s. And I'm like, what's that? Wow. How, so, I mean, but I've always been interested and never as interested as Ed, though. I mean, interested, yes, never as disciplined, let's put it that way, as Ed.
Yeah, he walks the walk.
Yeah.
There's no question of that. You and I shared the stage. We were the only two non-Hispanics in Ed's epic musical, Caesar and Reuben.
That's right. That was great. I think we're doing it again at some point.
No.
But he's changed it completely. It's all Spanish songs. It's all, I mean, there really is there's like a couple of like non-Latin people, me being one of them, and I ain't playing any Latin people. So, yeah.
I remember, one night, I guess I'd never noticed I said, who's that brunette? Oh my God, it's Rachelle. They put a wig on her because they were short someone.
Yep. Probably not too PC, but you do what you do. And listen, why not? The theater is the theater. Everyone.
Absolutely.
I don't people play white. I mean, we all play everything. I mean, we get a little precious with this because, you can if you're Jewish, you can only play Jewish. Well, then you can't play, WASP. I mean, we all can.
No, but that was the opposite for years. Only Italians could play Jews and Jews played Italians. It was so bizarre.
I know. That's so, and it's just ridiculous. Actors should be able to play what we play. That's how. Otherwise, gay people would never play anything. They just play gay people.
Oh, well, if they let them play gay people.
Well, now they are. That's happening. And that's a good thing because they're a big part of our culture and our society, and they should be represented. And they are. It's apparently very, very, very exposed. Very represented right now. I haven't seen that Canadian show. Isn't it a Canadian show?
About the hockey players?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, apparently it's a big
Fuck
hit.
off or something. Yeah, very strange.
Yeah.
Those of us who have known you and Ed for years, have always affectionately referred to you as the Battling Begleys. Years ago, there was the Battling Bogarts before he met Lauren Bacall. But somehow it became part of the media. I just saw the clip on your thing. I don't know what this thing is. Myra and John, camp members, you were in some kind of therapy group.
Oh, it was a movie. It was a silly movie we did. Yeah. Yeah, we were always like...
Well, you'd had an affair with the dry cleaner?
Ridiculous dialogue. Yes, apparently so. Very un-PC what he says. But it was a movie. We've done many projects together, many. And we had that series, the Living with Ed series that we played ourselves.
Well, what I remember, that was the absolute heartache because you were so clever. You bought this house. You hadn't sold the other house, but you were going to get all these environmental things.
Yep.
People were going to contribute so you wouldn't have to pay anything. It was also, and the show was canceled. And there you were with two houses.
Yes. It's a bit of a stretch. Very, very straining. And the fact that Ed and I are still talking is a friggin' miracle. It was very stressful. We have this LEED Platinum house that was built. It took 5 years to build, so it took a lot longer than one had ever anticipated. And we're living in it. We've been here 10 years, and I'm very happy that we actually got it built. I mean, it is, but it wasn't going to be, we couldn't just do silver. I kept saying, couldn't we just do silver? Why do we have to do platinum? Nope. We had to do platinum. So anyway, but that was...
What was that all about?
Oh, he wanted a platinum. It's a LEED certification. So it's the cert that, and the thing about having I did do a web show for a minute called Our Green House that was on those platforms years ago. They used to have platforms on the internet. And we had episodes of the taking down of the house. And I did a web show called On Begley Street, which was about the taking down and recycling of a house. My fantasy and my wish is to have another one, is to do another environmental / Living with Ed, Hollywood, all of that show again, because it's infotainment and it's helpful and it's fun and people learn stuff from it, and I learned stuff from it, so I loved it. I would do it again.
If there are any producers watching this today, this is a great show. Contact her. Do it.
I have a couple of in the works, so we're in talks, and then we have to. As this process is a very long process, you shoot a sizzle and then they pitch the sizzle. I've gone down the road a few times. Unfortunately, the environment that we're in this country right now, it's not very conducive. People are a little freaked out by it. But we need it more now than ever because our government is not helping us.
Sometimes I just think I dreamt it all. It's a bad dream.
Yeah.
It's like Who Shot JR or something, Mm-hmm. But no. And then I keep thinking, but he's so unhealthy. What, I'm going to wake up and it's going to say he passed? No.
And then there's one right behind him. There's Vance and there's all those other ones. I think that although MAGA maybe even MAGA's getting fed up. I don't know. I can only pray. That only the good die young, it seems to be. I don't know. But yeah. It's very unfortunate. There's one thing about the show last night. Jimmy Kimmel coming out. I loved it. I love people that are brave. I don't agree with everything everyone says, but the fact that they have a platform and stand for something and they believe in it, I think that's great. And that's what, sometimes they shoot themselves in the foot, but, at least they have a voice and they stand for something.
Yeah, we don't seem to get any people from the other side of the aisle turning up at these awards.
That would be good luck. I don't think they'd admit it if they did, but
we'd have to go back, to the early 50s when they were in charge.
Well, it was a very different political scene back there. It was a very what's the word? Democrats and Republicans. They were different. I come from a long line of Republicans. My father was a Republican, but he was an environmentalist. He was an architectural engineer who loved farming, and he built a farm and he built his own house and he conserved and all the things that, Teddy Roosevelt stood for.
Well, Teddy Roosevelt, the president of the United States, was an environmentalist. He created this whole movement and the national parks and everything else.
But they've seemed to have forgotten that. And it's become about money and getting more and, and how rich do you have to be? I don't know.
But the fact that, he can get these people to buy up the networks and buy up the studios, that's alarming.
A little alarming, very alarming. I'm hoping for Skydance, if they do buy it, I guess they're buying Warner Brothers, that they, I don't think they're all as conservative. I'm hoping that David Ellison is, and they won't destroy it. I'm really trying, because it's a fait accompli. It's happening. So we can only hope that they care about product and telling stories and film and television and all of that they won't literally destroy and make it so tight that no one else can work. I don't know. Who knows? We're in this paradigm shift and we don't know what it's going to shift to. The Oscars are going to be on YouTube in a few years. So that's just the way it is. Are we going to have 3 networks, 4 networks, 5? I don't know. No, we don't know.
Well, who watches the networks anymore? Anyhow,
well,
it's all
I still watch it. I do. Yeah. I'm not going to cut my cable yet. I guess because I lived on cable for a long time and I don't know. I feel a responsibility.
Well, Ed would know this. Can you still have an aerial that you don't have to pay for cable? Can you?
I'm sure you could, but
That's analog. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I don't understand all that. But you know what? Who pays anything in television right now is still the networks.
Yeah,
So
they're the only people who get your residuals.
yeah,
You,
I mean, the streamers don't hardly pay anything. We made terrible deals on those. So NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, Ed just did Brilliant Minds, which they shot in Toronto, and that's a network show. They still have advertising, they still have eyeballs, and they still pay.
no, and you did Matlock.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I loved it.
And have they repeated it? You got a nice check
Yeah.
again.
Oh yeah.
Is she coming back? That I like that judge.
I love that judge. That judge was snarky and had a point of view. No, I don't know
Even
that.
if you weren't Italian.
No. Francesca Gaggiano. I don't know. They liked that I had straight. I guess they liked because in the breakdown it said nice blowout and I think eyeliner. I don't know, something about my makeup. I know what they wanted. They wanted like an Italian, one of those fancy pants people. But I was told, and I'm going to take them as their word, when they came up to me at the table read, I did the best audition. So,
The girl.
I don't know if my performance was as good as my audition, but my audition was really good.
I think the last two shows I've done were with non-pros as far as being actors.
Wow.
But the reaction I've had, this couple, my friends, the Goodmans, who were husband and wife therapists, they've had almost 400 views of this show, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. But it was Valentine's Day. They've been married 50 years. It's an incredible love story. People love that. This whole JFK Jr. and his late wife, this thing has just exploded. And then I had a hypnotherapist and past life regression lady on, and that's going through the roof. So
I love hypnotherapy and I love past life regression.
you should check it out,
Yeah.
Deanna Black. But there you are, Pilates. You never gave up. Now, how did you get into Pilates?
I had a knee injury dancing in New York, my first dance class in New York when I came up from Atlanta. Again, I blew up my knees dancing. And so I had major surgery in 1900. And I had,
100.
yeah. But back then they didn't, it was like, they didn't know anything. They didn't tell you to go to physical therapy. They put you in a cast. They immobilized you. You got weaker. It was terrible. And now, so I found Pilates through one of my acting teachers, because back then there were only dancers and artists that did Pilates. It wasn't really mainstream at all. And I started in 1980, and it was rehabbing from that injury. And so, it was, and I've stayed with it ever since because it's great work.
So how many hours a week would you say you do Pilates?
I do it or teach it?
No, teach, have clients.
Oh, not very many. Maybe 5, 6. I have some clients who I've had for 30 years. And now they're in their 70s, and they need someone who understands their body and understands the work in the way I understand it, because I've studied with everyone all over the world. And it's more traditional. It's more specific. I'm not going to, hopefully, God willing, injure it. What they're teaching today in these classes is not Pilates. It's weird. It's a Pilates machine they're using, but it's not
Pilates light.
Yeah, it's like trying to kill you, I think. I think it's just like, well, how can I make you sweat and get in pain? I don't know. It's something.
Oh, like hot yoga.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's not my thing. I'm pretty traditional in that area. So,
Who was Pilates?
Joseph Pilates. He was a man. He was German, and he was in England at the time of the World War I. He was interned in an internment camp, but he had been a sickly kid, and he had studied all these different weight training and yoga and whatever Eastern art to create his own physique and help himself. I think he was in Germany at that time. Then he went to England for whatever reason, I'm not sure, and he was interned in an internment camp because he was German. And in the infirmary, there were springs on the beds. And the springs he used as weight resistance. Somehow that's how when he went to New York in the 20s, he created these beds with spring tensions, and he called the work contrology. So it wasn't until like the 30s, late 30s, 40s that the dancers, the dance community, like Martha Graham and what's his name, Jerome Robbins, and all those people, would send their injured dancers to him and to rehab. So it got more ballet or dance focused, but it was very specific, slow moving work to rehab and to just get conditioning, pure conditioning.
Does the Alexander technique have any connection to this
Not
at
at
all?
all. But it's great work. It's great work.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
very-
being at Stratford, Ontario, about 20 years ago, and something happened to one of the actors, and they stopped the performance, and another actor came out on stage and said, "Is there anyone here who's an Alexander technique practitioner?" And it turned out somebody raised yes. They said, "Could you come with us, please?" And the guy crossed the stage, and he fixed the actor because nobody else knew how to do it.
That is so weird, and only in Canada. I mean, that's wild.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my niece is a big
I
devotee.
remember it was Brian Bedford, I think, who asked. I don't know who the actor was who had the, without. What about Rolfing? Do you know about Rolfing?
Sure, I've done it all.
All right. So
Just deep tissue. Ida Rolf.
I love that, if you stop, what does that mean, Rolf? It means there was a woman called Ida Rolf.
Yeah.
And she invented this technique. And I went to a man who had studied with her. So I was only one away from Ida Rolf, and it was amazing. It was
Did he help?
amazing. It did, but he said, "What, did you do something bad on your left hip?" Mm-hmm. That's what he means. He said, "There's damage. There's severe tissue damage." And this was my older brother was a sadist, and he used to dig his knee into my hip every night. That was one of the torture things he did, and the damage was there 40 years later.
Oh.
That this guy said. I said, "Oh my God!"
Wow. Well, that was an intuitive healer for sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure he felt scar tissue of some kind. I mean, there's
Yep.
things
Yep.
brain to touch, and there was probably a lot of trauma there,
Yeah.
emotional trauma. The body does hold it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm also remember the three films that we did together, which I so love working.
We did
with you.
three. We did three.
We did three features.
Oh my Lord.
Brian Cranston said I make more movies than anyone else in Hollywood.
Probably.
But Lynette Sobel, do you remember when you had that? You kept falling asleep. You had the
Oh yeah. Funny.
and and Lauren Lester was the FBI agent who came to interview you, and you fell asleep. I'm going to show a little clip of that because I love your performance in that.
Calvin, we have a situation.
A situation? Agent Kelvin, what we have here is double dog shit in the chili.
Bathsheba, I can't talk right now.
You gotta bring in Mel Sobel.
I don't think we should discuss him right now.
I'm trying to question him. Just slap the cuffs on him and get him in here. Do you hear me, Agent Kelvin? Bring me Mel Sobel.
I'm gonna have to hang up on you. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
And now we're back from that. But our all-time favorite, of course, is Fury Chadwick, in Barking Mad.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you guys? I have friends downtown, and you guys are gonna do some serious jail time. Especially you, Nelson. This isn't funny!
I always say to people, well, Charles made these movies on an iPad. I said, and you know how he did a close-up? Everyone
Who's that?
laughs.
Oh, I know. I mean, that guy, what the heck's his name? He directed American David's, whatever his name
Oh,
is.
David O. Russell?
David O. Russell. So I met him one day, and Colleen Camp was there. She introduced us.
Sure,
And
sure.
he makes movies on the iPad. And he said to me, but how do you do close-ups? I went, what? You know.
He moved.
Now, of course, I've graduated to the phone because that's 4K and it's great.
But how do you do it? Do you have a dial or something on the phone that you can zoom in?
No, I still have my arm. I'm still. I think that I see these things occasionally. Oh, you have to get this thing. No. Just do that. But here's one of my favorite clips from you as Fury after you've been kidnapped by the Cubans.
Oh God.
And they take the hood off you. And anyhow, here's that clip. And the good news for people who love Fury, as I did, and everyone did, we are hoping in September to do the sequel to Barking Mad, which is called Still Barking. And Fury will come back.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, the script's almost done. So
Oh my gosh.
we're going to pay people. And there's a wonderful role for Ed at last that he doesn't have to play himself.
He likes playing himself.
Oh, I know. Governor Begley was one of the funniest things. That was great.
Yeah, what was that?
That was in Hard 4.
Hard 4. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah, I loved that character. What was her name again? Do you know? Hard 4. I don't remember.
What in Hard 4? Yeah, it was Dee Dee Kulakundis.
Oh, couldn't.
We called her Dee Dee because the padded bra had a D on each cup.
Oh.
So she had a different name when I wrote the script, but I went, no, Dee Dee. That's why she's Dee Dee. John Getz.
Knew Kulakundis. Someone else was Kulakundis, and I went, I know that name.
There was a producer, a big West End producer. His name was Kulakundis, Eddie Kulakundis.
And there was a casting director just nominated,
No.
I think.
There's another Kulakundis.
Yeah. Kulakundis. She was, I think, from last night. I'm like, I know that name. Well, there you go. See, figured that out.
And there you go, indeed, because the 30 minutes, as I said to you, it's gone. It's over.
All right. Yay.
Wonderful visiting with you.
Yeah. Okay, now what?
If you like the show, please tell your friends, click like. And here's another word I haven't been using. Subscribe. We need you to subscribe.
Well, what is it on? What platform?
Oh, it's on YouTube. It's on Spotify.
Okay.
It's on various platforms.
How many episodes have you done?
You are number 31 or 2, I believe. And then there's the older ones that I did 15 years ago, just audio. So they're the retro versions.
Oh, wow.
And they're available as well. So Ed has Ed now and Ed 15 years ago.
That's hysterical.
When he tells that wonderful story about going with his dad to Ireland, it's my favorite story.
Uh-huh.
The Begleys who lived in the hill.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Great, Charles.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rachelle Carson-Begley, and we will see you very soon.
Great. Take care.